Have you ever met someone and felt like something was wrong despite the attraction or affection? Of living a relationship that, instead of giving you joy and serenity, leaves you with a sense of unease, dissatisfaction, constant uncertainty? Have you ever wondered if that person was really right for you, if he or she was in line with your path, with your dreams, with your true essence? Sometimes, as much as we want a relationship to work, we find ourselves faced with obstacles, misunderstandings, difficulties that seem insurmountable. And we ask ourselves, is it just a phase, or is the universe sending us a signal? How can we decipher these signals? How can we understand if we are making the right choice? If you have asked yourself at least one of these questions, then this story is for you. Join us on a journey to discover the hidden messages of the universe, those whispers that guide us towards authentic relationships and distance us from those that do not belong to us. In this story, we will lead you through the paths of an ancient Zen temple, where the venerable master Ryokan will reveal the 7 signs that indicate whether a person is destined to be part of our life or whether, on the contrary, it is necessary to let them go. And if you stick around until the end, you'll discover how to listen to the voice of your intuition, how to protect your precious energy, how to recognize obstacles as opportunities for growth, and how to align your relationships with your true essence to live a life full of love, joy, and harmony. But before continuing, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. The morning sun filtered through the maple leaves, painting the Zen garden of Jinkakuji Temple, the silver pavilion, with light and shadow. A light morning mist still hung among the bonsai and smooth rocks, lending the landscape an aura of mystery and quiet. The scent of sandalwood incense mingled with the singing of birds and the soft sound of water flowing in the small stream that ran through the garden. The pilgrims, who had come from every corner of Japan, sat silently on tatami mats of woven straw, awaiting the words of the venerable master Ryokan. Some had traveled for days, crossing mountains and forests, driven by the desire to listen to the teachings of that wise monk, known throughout the country for his profound wisdom and his extraordinary ability to connect with the universe. Ryokan, with her long white hair tied in a simple bun and her face marked by time, exuded an aura of peace and serenity. He wore a saffron robe, threadbare and worn by the years, and a kesa, the traditional stole of Buddhist monks, of a deep indigo color. His eyes, dark and deep as ancient wells, seemed to scrutinize the soul of each of those present, reading their desires, their fears, their hopes. When he finally began to speak, his voice, calm and melodious, like the sound of an ancient shakuhachi, enveloped the assembly like a warm blanket. Dear friends, Ryokan began, you have come here seeking answers, seeking guidance on your path. Today, we will talk about the signals that the universe sends us to indicate whether a person is destined to be part of our life or whether, on the contrary, it is necessary to let them go. He paused briefly, sipping a steaming green tea from a small ceramic cup. Then, with a slight smile that lit up his face, he continued, the universe is an immense network of connections where every action, every thought, every emotion vibrates and propagates like the waves created by a stone thrown into a pond. It speaks to us constantly, offering us directions and suggestions, whispering words of wisdom to our hearts. Sometimes, however, we are too distracted, too caught up in our worries, our desires, our illusions, to listen to its voice. Learning to recognize its messages is essential to living a life in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. Ryokan rose to his feet, his movements slow and measured, and began to walk slowly among the pilgrims, his gaze resting on each of them. The first signal, he said, stopping in front of a young woman with tear-filled eyes, is the voice of our intuition. Think of it as a spiritual radar, a sixth sense that warns us when something is wrong, like a flash of lightning that illuminates the darkness. When we meet someone who is not in line with our path, our body reacts even before our mind. We feel a sense of unease, a tension in the stomach, a lump in the throat, a weight on the heart. A small inner voice, faint but insistent, whispers to us that something is not right. Do not ignore these signals. No matter how much we rationalize, no matter how much we convince ourselves that everything is fine, that feeling will persist, like a woodworm that gnaws at our serenity, like a thorn that prickles our heart. It is the universe that protects us, that tells us with loving firmness, "This is not your path." He leaned toward the young woman, looking into her eyes with deep compassion. "Listen to your inner voice," he whispered. "Don't betray yourself to please others." Then he continued on his way, stopping next to an elderly man with a face marked by worry. "The second sign," he continued, "concerns our energy. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to suck our strength, as if they were feeding on our vitality? After spending time with them, we feel tired, empty, unmotivated, lacking enthusiasm. These people, sometimes called energy vampires, take away our vitality instead of giving it. The universe is showing us that our energy is precious, a sacred gift to be cherished and protected. The right people, those destined to be a part of our lives, fill us with joy, inspire us, give us strength, push us to be the best version of ourselves. Ryokan placed a hand on the older man's shoulder, sending him warmth and comfort. "Surround yourself with people who nourish your soul," he told him with a smile, "and distance yourself from those who poison your spirit." Then he walked toward the center of the garden, where an ancient cherry tree stood, its branches laden with pink blossoms, reaching toward the sky like arms outstretched in prayer. "The third sign," he continued, "is manifested through obstacles and difficulties. When we try to build a relationship with someone who is not in alignment with our destiny, it seems like everything conspires against us. Plans go awry, unforeseen events arise, arguments multiply, misunderstandings pile up like black clouds on the horizon. This is not just bad luck, but a clear and unmistakable message from the universe. You are forcing something that is not meant to be. Let go of the struggle, let go of the resistance. Trust that those obstacles are a sign that there is something better for you, a brighter path ahead." Ryokan sat down at the foot of the cherry tree, leaning his back against the gnarled trunk. "The fourth sign," he continued, "concerns our authenticity. The universe celebrates our uniqueness, our individuality, like a gardener who cares for each individual plant, loving it for its beauty and diversity. When we find ourselves in a relationship where we feel the need to change, to hide parts of ourselves to be accepted, to wear masks that stifle our true nature, the universe sends us signals. We feel inadequate, frustrated, stuck, like caged birds yearning for the freedom of flight. It is a clear warning that we are in a place where we cannot flourish, where our soul is withering. Authentic relationships, those that are aligned with our being, inspire us to grow, to evolve, to express our true nature, to spread our wings and fly towards our destiny." He closed his eyes for a moment, as if listening to a distant voice. "The fifth signal," he said then, reopening them, "concerns our dreams. When we begin to neglect our aspirations, our plans, our goals to please someone or for fear of disappointing someone, when we allow fear and insecurity to extinguish the flame of our desires, the universe warns us. Our dreams are sacred. They are our guide, our inner compass, the map that leads us to the realization of our potential. The right people will support us in realizing them, will encourage us to pursue our passions, to give shape to our visions. If someone takes us away from this path, if they make us doubt ourselves, if they push us to give up what makes our soul vibrate, it is a sign that they are not in line with our destiny. Ryokan picked up a maple leaf from the ground, admiring its perfect shape and vibrant colors. The sixth sign, he continued, manifests itself as an attraction to new people or new places. Sometimes the universe speaks to us not through conflict or discomfort, but through a subtle call to something different, an intuition that pushes us to explore new horizons. We begin to feel curious about other people, other environments, other experiences. It is as if the universe were showing us an alternative path, more authentic and fulfilling, a trail that winds through flowery meadows and leads to a peak from which we can admire the vastness of our potential. This does not necessarily mean that we should end our current relationships, but it is an invitation to reflect, to follow our hearts, to listen to the voice of our soul. He stood up, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The seventh and final sign, Ryokan concluded, is emotional chaos. When we find ourselves next to someone who is not in line with our path, our inner peace vanishes like the dew at sunrise. We live in a perpetual state of anxiety, uncertainty, dissatisfaction, instability. It's like being on an emotional roller coaster, with constant ups and downs without ever finding a point of balance. This chaos is a cry of alarm from the universe, an invitation to stop and ask ourselves if it's worth continuing to invest energy in that relationship, if it's worth sacrificing our serenity on the altar of a love that makes us suffer. Letting go of what creates chaos is an act of courage, an act of love towards ourselves, a fundamental step to find our inner harmony. When we do it, peace returns, energies realign, and the right people find their way into our lives, like butterflies attracted to the light. Ryokan turned to the pilgrims, his gaze filled with compassion and loving wisdom. "Dear friends," he said in a soft, reassuring voice, "the universe constantly speaks to us, lovingly guiding us toward our true essence, toward the realization of our full potential. Learn to listen to its messages, to trust its plan, to abandon your fears and doubts. Remember that you are worthy of authentic, fulfilling relationships that support you on your journey, that inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Let go of what no longer serves you, create space for the new, the beautiful, the true. And never forget, the universe is on your side, protecting you, guiding you, loving you unconditionally." A long silence followed the master's words, a silence full of emotions, reflections, new awareness. The pilgrims, deeply touched by his speech, remained in meditation, assimilating Ryokan's teachings, letting his words penetrate the depths of their being. The sun, now high in the sky, illuminated the Zen garden, creating a magical atmosphere suspended in time, an oasis of peace in a frenetic and chaotic world. In that moment of deep connection with themselves and with the universe, each of them felt a new awareness, a new strength, a new hope, a new love for life, and all its infinite possibilities being born within